So I completely forgot there was an episode of Rick and Morty. Yeah. Sorry. I forgot there was an episode of Rick and Morty. So this is being recorded late at night because I forgot, and then I realized it was there, and I'm like, oh damn, I better do something about that. So that's what I'm doing. So here we go, Rick and Morty. This was episode 6, I think? I'm losing track. But this episode was actually very fun. I had previously talked about Space Beth and her hatred in the fandom, and I'll admit, man, when I saw it was going to be a Space Beth episode, I did groan. I was like, oh no. But you know what? What they did with them? Real good. So the Beth plot, because this was divided into 2 plots like usual. There was the plot with Beth and Space Beth, and there was the plot with the rest of the family. The Space Beth plot is the best one. So the 2 Beths end up hating their life, right? They're like, how did we get here? I thought cloning each other was meant to make our lives better, but we're still not happy. So what they end up doing is they end up de-aging themselves back to 10 so they can be happy. They are homicidal maniacs in training. Jeez Louise. Both the Beths create a they create a giant treehouse that's full to the brim with death traps and all this type of stuff. They go to Gene's house, who's like their neighbor, and their first thought is, let's hunt him. And they freaking stab his freaking shins. They end up burning his house. They then end up fighting each other to the death. Rick has to eventually show up from the other adventure here to stop them. They end up tricking Rick and aging him to I think it's 360 is how old they age him. And I do admit what they did with it. I do like, which is they start beating him up, and because they're 10, they now just straight up air all their grievances to Rick, which is, you left us, you were never here from us, you didn't want us, you cloned us, you're supposed to love us. Now that there's 2 of us, you should love us twice as much. Really, I think their inner thoughts out more, because they're 10. They don't have to pretend to be adults and maybe try and hide some of how they really feel. They're 10, they're just gonna say what they feel, which was a nice way to get out how the Beths truly feel with Rick. And Rick tells them, I didn't leave you. My Beth died. And the Beths are like, well, someone left us. And you get a nice moment with Rick telling both the Beths he's proud of them. I'm proud of you. You're both my daughters. I love you. They have a nice moment where they all cry together. And by the end of the episode, all 3 of them are just having fun as a loving family. And that is nice. Seeing the progression. Rick is a lot more nicer Rick now. He's a lot more softer. And him being that way allows him to have this moment with the Beths where he is reconciled with them a bit. The other plot is they go to a intergalactic theme park called Earth World, which is meant to be how aliens see Earth. And it's Rick's this place sucks. It's bad, but it's the fun bad, right? And they go, and it's just bad. It's just boring bad. So they find out that the actual person who invented Earthworld is being held hostage, and his version of Earthworld is abandoned, and they have a new version. It ends up being some plot where the guy creates copies of famous people, then he wants them to go and kill everything because that's what Earth is with humans and all that, right? Not the best. And then Morty gets a side plot where there's a girl at the park and she's captivated that he's an actual human, and she's turned on by him because he's a human. And she's say human things like grocery list. Which is great. They end up breaking up because she wants Morty to say something absolutely racist, and Morty's what? That was fun. I thought that was funny. I mean, I would have done it, Morty, pussy. I would have said something racist right away. Come on, man. They end up escaping, and there's a plot where in order to disguise themselves as the humans that have been created, they need to have big heads. So when they escape, Summer and Jerry's heads have to stick out of their like escape car, and they are like blind and like their eyes are bloodshot because they've had to drive from space all the way back to Earth. So that was fun. Overall, fun episode. I would definitely say I really like the Beth stuff. The Beth stuff was the best, especially the 10-year-old when she's 10, because they actually got a 10-year-old to do it. Really, really fun. Just shows you how sadistic Beth was, and imagine if Rick had raised her. Right? She probably would just be Space Beth way, but imagine if Rick had raised her. She's a psychopath. That means she's truly Rick's daughter. So that's this episode. 8 out of 10, I would say. Because I really like the Beth stuff in this episode with her and Rick. That's fun. The Earthworld stuff's a bit once Rick leaves that plot, the plot kind of goes down for me. But yeah, I would say like 8 out of 10 maybe is probably what I go with. So that's this week. I think it's episode 6. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below.